Now let me show just a minute. So in today's class, let me show you that how we can insert the data into the tables. Okay. So let me connect to our database, use DB. Let us say our database is DB Vijay. No, let me connect to the database, use DB underscore Vijay. Okay. Just a minute, guys. Let her join. So this is the table we have created in yesterday class. No. So now let us say I want to insert the data into this table. So then how we can do that is, let us say insert into table underscore employees data. Okay. So let us say values. So you want to insert some data, no? You want to insert some data into the table, no? So insert into table name values. And what are the values? So here in this table we have how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns, no? So we have to insert 9 values to this. Okay. Since this table contains 9 fields, we have to insert 9 values. Let us say 1 comma. So something like employee name. So let us say some employee name. Okay, comma some age. Okay, some age, some gender. So let us say so we have declared gender as char, no? Char of one, char of one, no? So we need to declare as either M or F and some mobile number. Okay, and some date of birth. So let us say some date of birth, something like 13 slash, okay, 05 slash, okay, something like 1985, like this. Okay, and comma something like email address. So let us give some email address, something like mkmohan, okay, at the rate, okay, gmail.com. Okay, some email ID, some date of join. Let us say 12 slash 1 slash 2019, like this, and something like active employee. Yes, active as. Okay, so if you want to insert the data into the tables, so let us say comment. Let us say inserting the data into the tables. So this is your table columns. We have 9 columns are there. So insert into table name values, and we have to specify 9 values here. Okay, and numeric values. So employee ID we declare it as integer, no? Employee ID we declare it as integer, no? So the numeric values we can directly specify like this. And if it is a varchar or date fields, then we have to specify them inside the single quotes. Okay, either it is a varchar or it is a date, we have to specify them inside the single quotes. Okay, now you can see we have specified 9 columns are there, we have specified 9 values. Okay, it's ID, name, age, gender, mobile number, date of birth, email address, date of join, and active. Now let us execute this. Now let us select this query, and if you want to execute, either click on this or press F5. So now here you can go and see this. It is saying that conversion failed when converting the data or time from character string. Maybe first one is the month. Let us say 0530, 0530, and let us say this is okay 01. Let us say 12. Okay. Now let us go and see this. So now you can see we are able to insert the data. Okay, so first we have to specify the month name and then the day number. Okay, so now here you can go and see this whether the record got inserted. Yes, so now you can see we are able to insert the data like this. Okay, so this is one way of inserting the data. This is one way of inserting the data. Insert into table name values and specify the list of values. And if your table contains 5 columns, specify 5 values. If your table contains 10 columns, specify 10 values. Now let me show you another way of inserting the data. Now let me show you another way of inserting the data. So let us say I want to insert multiple values at a time. Okay. Now let me insert some 3 employees data. I want to insert 3 employees data at a time. Let us say employee ID 2, employee ID 3, employee ID 4, some names. Okay. Okay, so let us say some age. Okay, like this. So some mobile numbers, some data. Okay, like this. Some mobile numbers like this. Let us say something like Mohan dot. Let us say Krishna dot gmail.com. Let us say something like Ramesh at the rate Gmail. Let us say Suresh at the rate Gmail like this. Okay. Now, when you are inserting the multiple values at a time, then what we can do is you no need to specify this command again and again. You no need to specify this command again and again. So insert into table name values. You can just replace it with a comma. Okay, separate the list of values with a comma as a delimiter. That's it. Now you can see this is another way of inserting the data. So no need to specify this insert command again and again. Just specify it only one time, and we can specify the separate the list of values, and you can separate the list of values with a comma. So now here I can go and see this. Let me execute this. So now you can see we are able to insert 3 records at a time. So now you can see we are able to insert 3 records at a time. Okay. So this is another way of inserting the data. Okay, like this. Now let me show you another way. So let us say sometimes your table contains 9 values, no, 9 fields, no. Now let us say your manager out of 9 fields, your manager has provided only some 4 columns data. So let us say, so let me show you another way of insertion. Let us say insert into table name values. Now let us say employee something like 5. Okay, so something like Vijay. Okay, some name. Okay, so my manager has provided his employee, his name and gender. Okay, and whether he is active employee or not. So let us say active as 0. Okay, so my manager has provided only 4 values. So he has not provided the date of birth, his email address, his date of join, and his mobile number. So he has not provided those values, and he is asking me to insert these values, and he is telling that I will provide the remaining details later. But he's asking us to insert these records, to insert these values somehow, to insert these values. Now if I execute like this, will it execute or it will throw an error? So your table contains 9 columns and you are providing only 4 columns data, 4 values. Now will it execute? No, it will throw an error, saying that the number of supplied values and the columns are not matching. Okay, so in this case what we can do now? Now, since when you create a table by default, if you go and see this, by default, every column allows null values. No, we have already seen that. Let us go and see. So every column is allowing null values. No, every column will allow null values. No, now you can see, can I provide null values for the non-provided columns? Now, after the employee and name, I have the age. No, so I don't have any value for age. No, can I provide null? Yes. Gender, I have the data. And for mobile number, I don't have any data. Can I insert null? Yes. And for date of birth, I don't have any data. Can I insert null? Yes. Email ID, I don't have any data. And date of join, I don't have any data. So now you can see, can I insert null values for the non-provided columns data? Yes. Now let us see. So that is also allowed. Okay. So now here if you go and see the table data, now you can see we have the null values for the non-provided columns. Okay. Now can I insert blank values instead of null values? In place of null values, can I insert blank values? Now let us see something like employee ID 6 and something like Ashok. Okay. So now let us see blank like this. So now can I insert blank values instead of nulls? Is this allowed? Yes, that is also allowed. Okay, that is also allowed. But for an integer column, now you can see the third column is age. No, the third column is age. No, for an integer column, if you insert blank, what value it will take is it will get inserted. It will take the SQL Server default value for integer is 0. Okay, so it will take the SQL Server default value. Okay, for integer column is 0. No, so it will get inserted it as 0. If I provide blank value for integer column, it will get inserted as 0. Similarly, for a date column, if I provide blank value, so it will get inserted as 1/1/1900. Okay, that is the SQL Server default value for date field. Okay, and for varchar, it will accept the blank. Since it is a varchar, it will accept the blank. So now you can see this. If I insert the data, if I insert a blank values, now here you can go and see this. So for integer column, if I insert blank, it is getting inserted as 0, and for date column, it is getting inserted as 1900 BC, 0101 1900 like this. Okay, and for varchar field, blank is accepted. Okay, like that. Now, right now I have only 10 columns or 9 columns, and my manager has provided 4 columns data, and for remaining columns I am providing null. That is fine. Suppose if your table contains 50 columns, what will you do? And your manager has provided values for only 4 columns. Now for the remaining 46 columns, do you insert as null, null, null? Do you keep on specify null values 46 times? No. So that is a very time consuming process, no? So then in that case, what we can do is, so let me show you another way of inserting the data. So insert into table name values. Now let us say your manager has provided something like Kavita, okay, and the gender, okay, and the activity, whether she is active employee. Let us say right now she is not active employee, 0. Okay, now if your manager has provided only these 4 columns, so then what you can do is, instead of you specifying 46 time null values, what you can do is, after the table name, we can specify the column names for which you have the data. So let us say you have the data for EMP ID, comma, EMP name, comma, gender, comma, active, like this. So now you have the data for these 4 columns, no? So specify those column names in after the table name. That's it. Okay. So now you can see this is another way of inserting the data. So now you can go and see this. This is the another way of inserting the data. And now let me select the data one more time. So now you can see for employee ID 7. Okay. So for the non-provided values, it is taken the null as the default values. Okay. So like this also we can insert the data. So if you have more number of columns, then you can take this option also. So these are all the different ways of writing the insert query. And every time your customer might not give you the one by one employee data, no? So he will send you the all the employees data in a Excel file. He can give the bulk list of employees in a Excel file or in a notepad file also. So every time he can't give you one by one employee record, no? So he will send you the list of employees, okay, bulkly in Excel file, and they will ask you that, hey, can you please load the data from Excel file to SQL table? Or sometimes they can give the data in a text file or CSV file, and they will ask you, can you please load the data from the text file to the SQL table? Now let us see how we can load the data if the customer is sending the data in Excel file, how to load the data. Okay, so let me show you some sample data. So let us say something like have some employee Chennai Excel file is there. Okay, so is the Excel file. Now let us double click on it. Let me show you the data first. So now you can see this in this Excel file. So now you can see this, we have some two Excel sheets on there. Okay, EMP data Chennai and EMP address. Okay, so now just a minute, guys. Okay, so now you can see this. So I have two Excel sheets are there. One is in the first sheet I have the list of employees and their names, okay, city name, salary and age. And in the second sheet I have the list of their address. Okay, so now my customer is asking, can you please load these two data? Okay, so a simple example. So in real time we may get some thousands of records also. But let me show you how to load this Excel file data into the SQL table. Okay, now this is my data. Let me close. Okay. Now where is your Excel file is present? So it is present under the E drive under this. What is the file name? Employee Chennai Excel is there. Okay. So now let us see this. Now let us go to the SQL server. Now I want to load that Excel file data into the SQL table. No? Then what you can do is, where you want to load, you want to load into the DB database. No? So let us go to this. Okay, so you want to load into the DB database. Now let us go to the database, right click on that database. So let us right click on the database. Okay, now here you can see under that we can see we have an option called task option is there. Under this task option, let us go to the click on inside the task option we have an option called import data option is there. Click on it. So SQL server one wizard will open here. Okay, now let us see. So now you can see we have an import and export wizard is opened here. Now let us click on next. Now where is your source? Choose a data source. Where is your source is present now? My source data is present in Excel file. No? So let us go and select the source type as Excel file. Just a minute. So now let us select under the data source list. So let us select the source type as Excel file. Okay. And let us locate the file path. Let us locate that Excel file. Click on browse. Now where is your Excel file? Under the E drive. And what is the Excel file name? Employee Chennai Excel. Now let us click on it and click on open. And here you can see it is .xls version and it is identifying the version name. And do you have column names in the first row? Yes. Then check this option. Go to next. Now my source is ready. Okay, now my source is ready. Click on next. So now you can see we have choose a destination. So where you want to load into the SQL server, no? Then the provider type will be, the destination provider type will be SQL Server native client. Go to the last and here select the SQL Server as the uh, destination provider. Let us select this, and now here you can see this. Once you select SQL Server, the destination is already showing it as DB Vijay. Why? Because we have right clicked on the database now, so my destination is already pointed here. Now my source is ready and destination is also ready. Click on next. So now here you can see, do you want to copy the data or do you want to write a query? So now, since my data is Excel file, my source data is present in the Excel file, I don't want to write any query. I just want to copy the entire data. Then select the first option, click on next. Now here you can see this. So in the Excel file, in our source file, we have two Excel sheets. Now you can see we are able to see those two Excel sheets here. And this is the Excel sheet names. And you want to load these two sheets into the SQL table. Now, what is the name of the table you want to queue? With what name it will get stored? Okay, so if you select this particular Excel sheet, now you can see this, whatever is the sheet name is there, with the same sheet name it is going to create a table in the destination. It is going to create a table in our database with the same sheet name as the table name. Now if you want to load multiple sheets, can I load? Yes, you can select multiple sheets also. So let me select this address tab also. Now you can see with the same sheet names it is going to create a table. Okay, and if it is a table means, so, and if you want to preview the data, first of all, if you want to preview the data, can I do that? As you can see, we have one preview option is there. If you click on preview, now you can see this is the employee address data. Okay, and if you put your mouse on the second sheet and you can click on preview, now you can see this is the employees data. Okay, now your table has data also. Now if it is a table means it should have some column names and it should have some data types also, no? So what is the column names and their data types? Can we see that? Yes. How we can see this is, you can see we have a link, we have a button called edit mappings. Once you click on it, so now here you can see this. So this is the source column names and this is the column names it is going to create in the destination table, and these are all the data types. Now since the source is an Excel file, so the integer value, the integer column is represented as float and the varchar fields are represented as nvarchar. Since these are coming from Excel file, that is what the data types are defined as float and nvarchar. Okay, now but in your SQL table you want to change, you want to store it as employed as integer. Can I change it here? Yes. Now you can see, if you want to store it as integer in the SQL table, can we do that? Can we change that? Yes, you can see we have tiny int, big int. Now you can see we have integer also is there. Let us select integer. And employee name, I want to store it as varchar. So can we change it here? Yes. So instead of nvarchar, we can change it as varchar also. Okay, how you want to store it in the SQL server? We can change the correct data types also. Now let me change the salary also from float to integer and age also from float to integer. We can change it. Yes. Okay, like this you can change. And similarly, if you want to change it for employee address table also, you can go and see. So this is the source columns and the destination columns. Okay, or do you want to leave it like this and do you want to change it in the SQL side? That is also fine. Either you can change it here or after loading, do you want to change it in the SQL side? That is also fine. Both are allowed. Okay, now let us click on OK. Now you can see with the sheet names it is going to create a tables and we are able to see the data and we are able to see the data types also. Now click on next. Now my source and destination are ready. Let us click on next. Now we have done some data type changes, no? So that's why it is giving some warning. We can ignore it. Do you want to run immediately? Yes, click on next. And this is like some summary section. Where is your source, where you are going to load, what is the destination provider, all those things. Now click on finish. So now we can see we are able to load the two tables data successfully. Okay, now click on close. So now let us go and see this. Let us see whether our table data is loaded or not. Let us go to the DBVJ database and let me refresh one more time. And let us go to this DBVJ table list. Let us go to these tables. So now here you can see this. We have these two labels, two tables, employee address and employee data Chennai dollar. So those two are successfully loaded. And if you want to see the data, let us see. Select star from employee data Chennai dollar. Okay. Now let us go and see this. So now we can see we are able to see the table data also. And another table name is emp underscore address dollar. No. So let us say select star from emp underscore address dollar. So now you can see we are able to see the data of both the tables. Now having a dollar in the table name is not looking good, no? So can I rename the table? Yes. If you want to rename the table, if you want to change the table name, can we do that? Yes. We have two options. One option is, so we can go to this table, right click on the table, and you can see we have a rename option is there. And let us give whatever the name you want. Let us say table underscore employees address. Okay, like this. So just right click on it and you can rename the table name. Let us say table underscore employees address. No. Now if you query with your old table name, will it work? No, it is not working now. Okay. Now it is saying invalid object name. Now let us let us check with the new table name. Let us say table underscore employees address. So now you can see we are able to read it with the new table name. Okay, like this. Now another way of renaming is, so now here you can say I want to rename this employee data Chennai dollar. Okay. Now let us go and see this. Now how we can, another way of renaming is, let us say we can use one command called sp underscore rename. We have one system function called sp underscore rename is there. Sp underscore rename, and after that what is the old table name? So this is my old table name. And what is the new name you want to give? Let us say table underscore Chennai employees, like this. Now you can go and see this. Let us execute this. So now you can see we are able to rename the table name like this. Okay, now let us go on Control C. Let us see what is the, can we query with the new table or not. Let us see. Select star from new table name. So now you can see we are able to view the data. And if you query with the old table name, it won't work. Now you can see it is saying that invalid object name. Let us see this. So it is saying that invalid object name. So means the table name is changed. Okay. Now we are querying with the new table name. So can we rename a column name also like this? Can we rename a column name? Yes. So one here also, now also we have two options. Let me refresh. Now let us see, for renaming the column name also we have two options. Let us go for something like Chennai employees. Let us go to this. Let us go to the columns. So now let us say I want to rename the E name as EMP name. So what we can do, you can right click on it, click on rename, and just give a new name like EMP name like this. So that also will work out. So you can just right click and rename the column name. So now if you go and see this, the column name is converted to EMP. So another way is, let us say, another way of renaming is sp underscore rename. Okay. So let us say I want to rename the EMP city as city. Okay, let us say I want to rename the EMP city as something like city only. So then what I can do is, let us say this is your table name. No? So this column is present in which table? So this is the table name, and what is the old column name? That is EMP city. No, this is my old column name, and I want to rename this as something like a city. Okay, something like city, and let's display this as a column. That's it. Okay, this is how we can rename a column name. So what is the old column name, and that column name is present in which table, and what is the new column name you want to change, and just specify that is a column type. Now you can see this is the command where we can go and change the column name also. So now you can see it is changed as city. Okay. So like this we can load the data from an Excel file. Okay. And after that we can rename the table name and we can rename the column name. Suppose if your customer is giving the data in a CSV file or text file, then how we can load the data? Now let me show you some sample. So now let us say I have some employees bulk data is there. Double click on it. So this is a text file. Now here you can see I don't know how many values are there. So my customer has sent some bulk data. Okay, now I want to load this data into my SQL table. Okay, now let us see how we can do that. Now let us go to this. Now where you want to load in the DBVJ database, now let us right click on it. On the database, go to the task and go to the import data option. Click on the import data option. So now let us say click on next. So now you can see choose a data source. Let me go for it. Now let us go for, since your source file is coming in your source data is coming in a text file. No? So if it is a text file or a CSV file, then we have to select the source type as flat file source. Okay, source type as flat file source. Okay. Just a minute. So now you can see it is asking for browse the file name. Where is your file name? Let us click on browse to look at your text file. So under the E drive, what is the file name? So we have the employees bulk data is there. No? Let us click on it, select the file and click on open. And do you have column names in the first row? Yes, I have. And if you want to preview the data, let us go and preview the data. So now you can see we are having some data here, and we can see we have some values. Okay, now my source is ready. Okay, I have just selected the source file path and we are just able to see the data also. Now click on next. Now where is your destination, where you want to load? You want to load into the DBVJ database, that is SQL server. No, so let us select the provided type as SQL server native client. Okay, and once you select the provider, now you can see the DBVJ is already pointed. Why means we have already right clicked on the DBVJ database. No, so that's why my destination is already pointed here. Now my source and destination are ready. Click on next. Now this is your source file and this is your destination server name, and with what name we are going to create a table is whatever is the file name is there. No, with the same file name it is going to create a table in the SQL side. With the same file name it is going to create a table in the SQL side. And if you want to preview the data, you can click on this preview button. Now you can see we are able to preview the data. Okay, and if you want to see the mappings with what names, with what column names and the data types, just click on this edit mappings. Now you can see these are the source column names and it is going to create a destination column names, And since your source data is coming from a text file, every column data type is specified as varchar, varchar, varchar. Since the source is coming from a text file. Now can I change it here? Yes. Now let us change the employee as integer data type. In SQL Server, I want to store it as integer data type. Name is varchar, city is varchar, salary, I want to store it as integer data type. Age, I want to store it as integer data type. We can change it here itself, or you can change it in the SQL Server also. Okay, now you can see this is the destination column names and
Mohan, I have a question.
yes.
Since it is a CSV file, that if we have a date and the date format might be not like DDMMYY. If I'm extracting this data into our SQL server, if I give date format, will that automatically picks as DDMMYY?
Yes. Okay, so just try with the date value. It can change it, no problem. It will automatically convert into date formats. Okay,
Okay, though CSV file have different format, but when we are selecting the date format, it will automatically pick the right format.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So now let us go to this. Okay, let us click on, do we have date field here? I don't have date field. No? I will show you that. Okay, if you are not able to do that, do let me know. I will show you that how to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now let us click on next. So now we have done some column name changes. No, so we have some warnings. You can ignore it. Click on next. And do you want to run immediately? Yes. Click on finish. And this is some summary section. Where is your source and destination? Click on finish. So now here you can go and see this. So we are able to load 11,856 records. Okay, now let us click on close. Now let us refresh the DBVJ database and let us go and see whether the data is loaded or not. So now here you can go and see this. We have the employees bulk data is there. Okay, now let us see this whether the data is loaded or not. So let us say select star from employees bulk data. So now we can see we are able to load all the 11,856 records. Okay, so by using this import and export wizard, we are able to easily load the data from the Excel file as well as from the text file. Okay, like this. And sometimes your manager might say that, okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
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 Yeah, Mohan, can we insert Mohan, can we insert into existing table? Bulk data
Yes.
into existing table?
Yes, yes, that also we can do. So now let me show you
Okay,
that.
okay.
Let me delete the records. Let me delete the records from this table. So delete from employees bulk data. So now you can see I'm deleting all the 11,000 records from this table. Now you can see there is no data present in this table. Now I want to insert into the existing table. Then what we can do, we can go to this, right click on it. Let us right click on this DBVJ. Let us select the import data. So if the table with the same structure, if the table is already present, we can import into the existing table also. Now let us go to the destination. Let me select the destination type as SQL Server native client. DBVJ database is there. Let me click on next. So now here you can go and see it is going to create another existing table employees bulk data. Okay, so if you want to see the mappings, so now you can see it is specified as integer. Or if you want to create, let me create one more table. Okay, so with another name, let us say with another name. So we have the columns like EMPID, name, city, salary. No? So let us say, let me create one more table, create table, the table underscores. Let us say something like employees info, okay, employees information. So let us say some columns like EMPID, integer, EMP name, varchar, okay. So varchar 50, okay, and some EMP city, okay, something like varchar 50, okay, and something like salary integer, okay, and something like age integer like this. So now I'm creating some table. So let us say employees info. Now I want to insert into this. Let me go to the back. Now let me click on next. Now you can see we have created one employees info table. No. So now do you have the table is coming up here? Employees info, it's not there. No. So let me start from first. So let me go for, let me refresh, and let me right click on this task import data. Now let us click on next. Now choose the data source. My source is coming in a flat file source. Let us select the flat file source and let us locate our source file. So that is under the E drive. My source data is coming from this text file, and let us preview the data. Yes, my source is ready. Click on next. Choose a destination. My destination is provider is SQL Server native client DB Vijay database. Click on next. So now you can see, so this is the file name and I want to load this into new table. Now let us say employees info table, existing table, and you can click on edit mappings. Okay, so now here you can see this, the same column name is not there. No, so you can go and say that insert the data into the EMPCT column name. Okay, since the column name is not matching, it is not automatically detected. So you can go and specify that you want to insert this ECT data into the EMPCT column. Okay, like this. Now let us click on next. Okay, now let us click on next. Run immediately. Yes. Click on finish. So we can load that existing table also like this. Okay. So now we are able to successfully load. Now let us go and refresh the database one more time. And let us see this in this table whether the data got loaded into the already existing table or not. Let us say select star from this table. So now you can see we are able to load the data also, and we are able to see all the records here like this. And sometimes my manager may say that, hey Krishna, our source data is present in another server or another database. So let us say our current database is DB Vijay, no? So he may say that, hey, there is a table present in the DB Mohan database. Okay, I want to create a copy of this table, copy of the table in the DB Vijay database. Okay, so he's saying that there is a table. Okay, there is a table in another database. Okay, so with something like 1 lakh records. He is saying that there is a table in another database with some 1 lakh records. He wants to create a copy of the table. He wants to create a copy of the table in the current database. In our current database. Okay, our current database is DB Vijay, no? So current database DB Vijay. So then what you can do? Will you type 1 lakh times insert query? No. So is there any a simple query to load the another database table into our current database table? Yes. Let us see that. So let me show you some sample data. So let us say we have one DB Mohan database is there. We want to shift a table data
we want to create a copy of this one of the table data into the current database. No, so let us say we have an employee bank data is there. No, let us see, do we have any employee bank details is there or bank info? Let us see that. So how to read the another database table data is, so write some select star from, first of all we need to read the data, no, and that is present in which database? DB Mohan database. No, now you can see DB Mohan database dot DBO schema name, and what is the table name? So table underscore, what is the table name you want to load? Employees bank info. No, so let us say employees bank. So now you can say I have some 5 records is there. Okay, now I want to take this table, copy of this table into the current database. Let us assume we have some 1 lakh records. So then how we can do the copies? Let us say this is the table data. Okay, this is my source table for which I need to create a copy in my current database. So then what we can do is, so before the from class, you can just write into, and what is the name of the table you want to give. So if you want to maintain the same name, you can maintain the same name. Let's see, it is the same name. I want to create a table in the DB Vijay database. Okay, that's it. So before the from class, just write into new table, into whatever the name you want to give, whatever the table name you want to give. Let us say table underscore employees bank details. Let us give some new name. Okay. Now is this table is already present in the current database DB Vijay? No. Now you can see is this table is already present. Now you can see this is table is not present. Okay. Now what this query will do is, if you write before the from class, if you write like this, what this command will do is, first of all it will create a table with this name. First of all it will create a new table with this name, and a table should have the column names and the data types. No, so with what column names? What is my source table? How many columns are there in the source table? We have 4 column names. No, so with these 4 column names it will create a table in this database, and after that, after creating a table, it will insert the data also, it will load the data also. Now you can see, so now you can see this query is able to create a new table with this name, and the data also is loaded here. Now you can see after creating the table, let us go and write the select query here. Now you can see the bank details, the table is created, and we are with 4 columns, and we are able to load the data also. Okay, so if you want to load the data from one database table to another database table, we can just use this before the from class, just use this into new table name. That's it. The entire data will get the entire data will get transferred into the new table. Okay, like this we can do. Suppose if I want to transfer the data into already existing table. Okay, so now this table is already existing. No, now how to transfer the data, okay, from another database table into the already existing table? Now here you can see this is your source coming from another database. This is the table data. Okay, it is coming from DB Mohan employee bank table. Now this data I want to insert into the already existing table, not into a new table, into the already existing table. No, then we can say insert into, just specify the table name, already existing table name. That's it. Okay, so if you want to, right now there are something like 5 records are there. No, now you can see after executing this, so selecting the data from the DB Mohan table, and after selecting we are inserting into the existing table like this. Now you can see 5 more records got inserted. Now in this 5 plus 5, 10 records should be there. Okay, so if you want to load the data into a new table, then we have to use this command. Okay, and if you want to load the data, if we want to load the data
into already existing table. Okay, then we have to use this select a star from table name, and before that we have to write insert into existing table name. That's it. And sometimes one of the interview question is, he may say that I don't want the data, I just want the table structure. I just want to take a copy of the table definition but not the data. Okay, they might ask you that, okay, this command, what it is doing, so it is creating a new table, and as well as the data also is getting loaded, no? But one of the interview question is, I don't want to load the data, I just want to take a copy of the structure. Then how to do that is, now let us see, that is simple. So here, when you are selecting the source data, now you can see if you write this command, so along with the table structure, the data also will be loaded, no, will be shown, no. Now let us say top 0 star. If I select top 1 means only the first row it will get selected. If I select top 2 means only the first 2 rows it will display. But if I specify top 0, so no rows. Now you can see only the structure. I can see only the structure here. Okay, now after this what we can do, we can specify into new table name. Let us say table underscore blocks, some table. So now here you can say this, it will get copy only the structure, not the data. If I specify top 0 star. So now you can say this, in this table, I was able to see only the structure, the column names, that's it. Now you can see there is no data. Okay. So if anybody asks you that I don't want the data, I just want the structure copy, can we do that? Yes, just specify top 0. That's it. Okay. So these are all the different ways of loading the data into the current database. Okay. So we'll send this query notes. Okay. So
Hello, Mohan. Krishna. Hello, Krishna, sir.
yes, tell me.
Yeah. Can we store columns, primary key index, those details also into new table? Primary key,
Yes,
foreign key, those also can we copy?
Yes. So with primary key, you want to copy the constraints also.
Yes, exactly. Constraints also I want to copy into entirely new table.
If you write this into command, so it won't copy the structure, it won't copy the constraints. It will just copy the structure and the data.
Okay. If I want to get the constraints and all.
So we have to, I will show you that. So once we have to, first of all, we have to create a table. On top of it, we have to create the constraints. So don't worry, we have a SQL constraints class is there, no? So maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will start the SQL constraints. Okay. So in that, I will show you all those things. Okay. So we have SQL constraints classes is there in the topic list. So maybe Monday or Tuesday, I can explain about the SQL constraints. I will show you how to create the SQL constraints on a new table, on an existing table, all those things. Okay. Thank you all. So we'll connect you on Monday itself. Okay. So tomorrow is Sunday, no? So no classes on Sundays. Okay. So some more students are about to join. So I will take some backup classes for them tomorrow, and we'll continue on the Monday.
Mohan, are you free for 2 minutes? I had some issue while installing, so I just wanted to share my screen and check with you. If you're free, we can do it today, or
yeah, can I connect on tomorrow morning? I have another class. Okay, can we connect on tomorrow morning?
No problem. Any timing tomorrow?
You can call me at 10 o'clock morning,
Okay.
10 a.m.
Perfect. I will do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And even yesterday's notes, please.
Sure. I will send that.
Thank you.